Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are around the world, and welcome to MotoGP HQ. And I'm sure if you've joined us throughout the rest of the week, you know what we're doing today. It is, of course, another team launch. It's the third one out of 11. Today, it is the day of Aprilia. Get your comments sent in straight away. We'll try and read out as many as possible. Already coming in. Hello, guys. Hello to you, Le Super Puma. MotoGP, the most exciting sports on earth. I can absolutely confirm that. We have already had Pramac, we have already had VR46. Now we do have the Aprilia Racing one. I can tell you that's not quite the accurate one. I think it's from last year. There we go, 2026. As I say, we have had Pramac, we have had VR46. We now have Aprilia. Tomorrow there's nothing, but we're back at the start of next week with Ducati. And then we move on to Yamaha, Trackhouse Aprilia. Then it is on to the KTM teams, the factory KTM and Tech 3 launching on the same day. The last day of the month, 31st of January, is the BK8 Gresini Racing outfit, where we'll see runner-up last year, Alex Marquez and Fermin Aldeguer unveiled, all being well, hopefully. Fermin obviously injured of late. Then it's the Honda teams, LCR Honda first, and then it is the factory team of Joan Mir and Luca Marini. But today, it's all eyes on Aprilia. So, what will we be showing you very, very soon? Well, we'll be getting on with the team launch itself, scheduled to get underway at around 12 o'clock, where we'll see what colours Jorge Martin and last year's bronze medalist Marco Bezzecchi will be wearing. But first, before that, they did take part in a little visit to the Noale factory, and there you can enjoy all of the old bikes that have been racing in not just MotoGP, but all the way through the years. There's one of Jorge Lorenzo's championship winning machines. I believe that will be from 2006. We have got the wonderful Gilera of Marco Simoncelli there, as well as a few of the RSV4s from the World Superbike days. But brilliant to see. There's some of Valentino Rossi's championship winning machines. I think that one, the one closest to us, it was his first ever bike. This is Lorenzo Savadori. We'll be seeing a little bit of him. He's Aprilia's official test rider. That was his actual factory Aprilia from back in the day in the World Superbike. You just catch a glimpse in the background of Marco Simoncelli's World Superbike Aprilia as well. This is Jeremy McWilliams's, as well as Troy Corse's 2000 World Superbike Aprilia. But they did take to the offices as well. As you can see, all the staff there cheering on Jorge Martin and Marco Bezzecchi and Lorenzo Savadori, as well as Paolo Bonora and Massimo Rivola. Everyone there just paying their respects to what is a small but a very, very hard-working team within the Piaggio group to get Aprilia Racing really to where they've been able to reach in 2025. A fantastic year, the first time ever they've been in the top three in the championship at the final checkered flag of the season, courtesy of Marco Bezzecchi taking victory in the last race of the year. This has to be the Aprilia year. I do, to a degree, agree, Frank MCN. The only reason that I'm slightly reticent on that is, of course, we still have Marc Marquez in a factory Ducati, and we know how difficult Marc Marquez on any bike, when it's working for him, can be. But Aprilia, at the end of last year, really on fine form, taking victory, of course, with Marco Bezzecchi, taking victory with Raul Fernandez. Who saw that coming? Certainly not us at the start of the season, but I've got to say, absolutely fantastic end to the season. As you can see, I am joined once again by my good friend and colleague, Connor Doherty, who is our roaming reporter on the ground. He was taking in the sights of Rome yesterday, but now, as you can see with his outfit, he's in the fashion capital of Milan. Connor, how's it going over there?
Not bad at all, Gigo. Thank you very much. Yeah, we have travelled 560 kilometres from Rome up to Milan for this event, the Aprilia Racing team launch, and it looks like it's going to be absolutely incredible here. The music is building tension. It's this loose ambient music. I don't know if you can hear it, but the tension is palpable. The excitement is here, and everyone had their phones out taking pictures of what, for the time being, are two bikes covered. But very, very shortly, Kiko, and everyone watching from all around the world, we're going to be seeing these bikes revealed. Aprilia for 2026, Jorge Martin and Marco Bezzecchi's bikes for the coming campaign. And as we were just talking about there on the show, it does need to be Aprilia's year, I think, Kiko.
Yeah, and just more on that, Connor. Last year they finished so strongly, and it couldn't have been much more different to how 2025 started. Hopefully this year, Jorge Martin fully fit, but Marco Bezzecchi, he's got to be the team leader going into this new season.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's going to be very interesting to see how, as a team, Aprilia are able to manage that dynamic, because Marco Bezzecchi excelled at the end of last campaign like no other rider, really. It was absolutely incredible to watch. He was leading by example, and Jorge Martin would still argue maybe that he's in a process of adaptation to the bike, but with the new regulations in 2027, that process does have a time limit on it.
Contract's obviously up at the end of 2026, so unless your name is Johan Zarco. Connor, for the time being, thank you very much. We'll come back to you a little bit later on. We are just 8 minutes away now from getting underway with the Aprilia presentation. But of course, you're seeing all these presentations unveiled. What about the championship itself? Well, get ringside in Kuala Lumpur on the 7th of February. You'll be able to see all of the bikes, all of the riders in all of their colours right outside the big Twin Towers down there in KLCC. We had Bangkok 1 last year. It is very much Kuala Lumpur's turn this year. We mentioned earlier about Jorge Martin and what a difficult year it was, a very much adaptation year. He was world champion in 2024. It couldn't have gone much more different in 2025. Have a look at this.
Están grabando. Sales a full. Going from the best or the happiest moment of my life, and then starting this nightmare.
Don't tell me you crashed.
Oh, this is not like we wanted to see at all, at all, at all.
I don't know what's gonna happen, but I love you, I love you, I love you.
You are never prepared to being close to die. I start to have a lot of doubts. I had to make a decision on my future.
You joking?
Tú con tu situación en el hospital, tus dudas.
I'm not gonna let you go.
On the inside goes Martin, that's lovely.
He is a fighter.
Oh, the two Aprilias down.
I will be here as long as my body let me.
He has bounced back before in his career. Can he do it again?
From heaven to hell, Jorge Martin. You can get that probably on a broadcast near you for sure on the MotoGP.com video pass. What a year it was for Jorge Martin. Will Martin return to winning ways in 2026? That's what we're asking. This poll isn't going to be open for very long because we need to close it before we do get to the Aprilia presentation and team launch itself. But vote yes or no. I've got to say, it is still a process of adaptation for Jorge Martin. He needs a clean pre-season. He can't afford to have another pre-season like what's happened last year. It really was not ideal for what was then the number one. The 89 is back for Jorge Martin this year. These are some shots from the Valencia test at the end of 2025. Of course, he pulled in during the GP itself on Sunday so that his body could actually recover to get some vital laps in for the 2026 season starts, and that of course gets underway on the Tuesday straight after the Valencian Grand Prix. Martin's season, as I said, he was world champion in 2024, P1, number one, splattered all over the place. He was P21 in last year's championship standings. He missed a handful of races, so many races. A lot of highlights though. We picked up on a couple of them in that trailer for the documentary that you can enjoy. One of them, Hungary, coming from 16th up into 4th, and really great race pace. His return at Brno went very, very strongly indeed, was well up inside the top 10. The problem for Jorge Martin is he's lacking so much time on the RSGP. The poll, as you can see, is live and changing. 65% of you reckon that he will be back to P1 at some point and in some way, shape or form in 2026. 36% of you now saying no, though. Don't forget, of course, the conversation doesn't just stop here. it does continue. Let us know why you've gone for yes or why you've gone for no. We are talking about whether or not Jorge Martin can get back to winning ways, but his teammate was already winning. Marco Bezzecchi, absolutely fantastic in 2025. And instead of me telling you the highlights, let's watch them.
Bezzecchi wins, dramatic British Grand Prix. Marco Bezzecchi is back on the top step of the podium. It's ended by simply the Bez in San Marino. Marco Bezzecchi completes a sensational Saturday. In the start of the sprint, Marquez and Marco Bezzecchi. That's a massive, massive crash. The 129.088 is Jorge Martin's all-time lap record. That's going to be obliterated. It's demolished. It's destroyed by Bezzecchi. It is the first ever 128 MotoGP lap of this Mandalika circuit. It's been a Bezzecchi blitz here, though, in Phillip Island. Marco Bezzecchi wins the Grand Prix of Portugal in 2025. He won it from start to finish.
And what you don't see there is that Marco Bezzecchi did go on to win the final GP of the year too in Valencia, back-to-back at the end of the year. Only Alex Marquez scored more points from Japan onwards at the end of 2026. Bez is going to come out fighting, and as commentator Matt Burt said throughout that video, simply the Bez at times in 2025. Do Aprilia have the best bike on the grid? We'll have to wait and see. Marco Bezzecchi, in his hands at least, though, it's really working for him. There were a couple of tracks last year where it didn't gel. Malaysia was one of them. They're going to have to get their heads down when we go testing at the start of February for that, for sure. But Marco Bezzecchi, if he picks up where he left off last year, we don't know the physical condition yet of Marc Marquez. He is recovering, of course, but being fit, being bike fit are two very different things. Marco Bezzecchi, if he has a clean pre-season, you get the feeling will really come out flying in Buriram. Of course, you can be trackside too, and there's only one way to experience that, of course, and that is in the luxury of MotoGP hospitality. It goes absolutely everywhere, right around the world, from Thailand all the way to Brazil, up to America and all around Europe. Get your seats in hospitality and you will enjoy the most exciting sports on earth like never before. As you can see, 60 seconds and less as we count down to the Aprilia Racing 2026 season launch. Now, I'm going to tell you, Lorenzo Savadori is right there as well, because he's still the official test rider for Aprilia, as well as Jorge Martin and Marco Bezzecchi. Best team on the grid. Bez, you're so goated. I love you. I presume that means simply the Mel. Lots of support coming in for the number 72. And I've got to say, why wouldn't you? And he finishes the 2025 season in such style. We are just about 20 seconds or so away. When the presentation is finished, don't go anywhere, because we're going to be bringing you all of the behind the scenes and insight from Milan in Italy. So for myself, Kiko Giles, for the moment at least, it's over to Milan in Italy. Let's see what Aprilia's colours are looking like for 2026. See you soon.
Passion. Speed.
Innovation.
Sacrifice, embracing the struggle.
Commitment. Never stop believing.
Vamos! Face any challenge. Keep pushing.
This
Is
Aprilia Racing.
We want to say it loud and clear. This is Aprilia Racing. Welcome to our season launch. The past 12 months have been very intense. We had a lot of joy, we had some hard challenges, but above all, we had a great commitment by all Aprilia Racing. The 2025 season has been a season of records, but we're not happy, we're not satisfied, because we want to do more. And if I think about two people that always are wanting more and more, I think about Aprilia brand ambassador Max Biaggi and Aprilia Racing team manager Paolo Bonora. Ciao Paolo. Grande Max. Very happy to have you here. You are actually introducing this launch. Max, I want to ask you right away, how impressed were you by the season, the 2025 season?
Yeah, I was quite impressed because it's the first time for Aprilia to finish in the third on the ranking of MotoGP. It was a historical result, and we are very proud, to be up there. Also, if you watch last race, the way end up with Marco winning and second Fernandez with Satellite Aprilia, that was a great picture.
Paolo, last year we had a lot of changes, a new technical director, new riders, new crew chiefs, but the team reacted in an amazing way. What do you think about it?
Yes, last year there was many changes, but as you know, changes are never easy. But what impressed me the most, the mentality, absolutely. The team and in particular the rider works a lot harder with a very positive and open mindset. So at the moment now there is a very good feeling, very good atmosphere, good vibes, and we are ready for the season.
Max, I'm asking you about Bezzecchi. Is there a moment in the season where you realized that he could make a difference as he did?
Yeah, very difficult to say, but for watching the test in Jerez, when he tested a special package, technical side, he stepped up. And the race after was in English Grand Prix, it was in Silverstone. He won the race. And I think since that, he built his performance, and everybody saw the result after that.
Talking about the past, talking about the present and the future, because in a few days we're going to be in Malaysia. 8 RSGPs are going there, and I want to mention especially Trackhouse MotoGP team, a partner more than a satellite team, Paolo. So are we ready for the season?
Yeah, ready for the season. We have to thank Trackhouse for their job, for sure, because as you said, I'd like to say that they are not only a satellite, they are a strong partner for us. And they showed during the last season that they can win and be very competitive. So to be realistic, we're looking forward to be with them, ready for the season, and to achieve even better results.
Max, I'm asking you about Martin, because he had a long career, a very winning career with 5 titles with Aprilia, 6 overall. And I'm asking you the challenges that you faced, the challenges that he has to face. Is there a piece of advice that you want to give to him?
Well, just feel sorry because he didn't have a chance to prove his ability. Everybody knows 2024 world champion. He has a skill. He proved it again, and I hope he can find his strong. Everybody in the team is follow him, is behind him. We have him as no second rider, but as a second top rider. We have 2 top riders, so everybody is behind, and hopefully to see him in the top in 2026.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you.
Thank you, Paolo. Thank you very much. A round of applause for Paolo and Max. And now it's time to introduce, it's not the new technical director because he's there already from 1 year, Fabiano Serlacchini. Ciao, Fabiano. 1 year we were here, you were just appointed, and what kind of a journey it has been these past 12 months with huge ups, some downs, but an amazing, intense journey.
Yeah. For sure, we have to remember where we are coming from. No? At the beginning of the season, we had several problem in terms of lack of performance and also the injury of Jorge. But he is, I believe, 100% clear to all the world the growth that we had during the season. So it has been super thrilling and exciting. And for sure, the last part of the season and the trend that we had for all the season, arriving to the final result, it has been really, really cool and exciting, yeah.
So we have the bikes here, the RSGP 26. What can you tell us about these bikes? What should we expect?
Yeah, for sure. In terms of regulation point of view, we have the engine freezing, no? So in terms of engine, also because we are thinking about the new project with the 850 for 2027. But for sure, we will work a lot, and we are working a lot in the aerodynamic development and the electronic development, because as we know from during the season, we discussed several times about the stability of the bike was super important to reach the performance and exploit the performance of the bike. So they are the key point where we are working on it.
You mentioned the 2027 because there's going to be the new rules.
Yeah.
So how hard is the challenge? And what's the state of the art? Because we know that there's going to be a huge development on the 2026, but you have a new project running also.
Yeah, I believe that is exactly the right word, challenge, because it's really challenging, but we are for sure super prepared. The engine is running in the engine test bench in, let me say, testing mode for reliability, to confirm everything, and also to try to start the path of the development. Basically, we are thinking that around the beginning of spring, the first prototype will land to the track. At the end of the day, it's already done, the first prototype, but is in the test phase, in the bench, inside, in the indoor testing. So we are quite confident, quite optimistic.
Okay. Thank you, Fabiano.
Thank you.
It's been and it's a pleasure to have you in the team. And a round of applause for Fabiano Sterlachini. And now I'm pleased to welcome here on stage Aprilia Racing CEO Massimo Rivola. I know that you always want to talk about the present, the future, but I need to read some numbers because they are quite impressive. So 19 podiums overall last season, 3 sprint races win, 3 long races win, actually 4 with the Trackhouse with Raul Fernandez, 5 pole position, 300 victories and 302. So the most winning European manufacturer in the World Motorcycle Grand Prix racing. What's your opinion about this?
It was a good season, but you know me, I like to look forward rather than backwards. I think those results may give us extra responsibility. I think that as the company is built now, I think can deliver more than that. We have 2 riders that, one with different stories in a way, but we are looking forward to fight.
People back at home, and actually I would like to cheer everybody who's watching on our channels, are looking at the victories of Marco Bezzecchi and all the funny stuff that he's done this season. I'm asking you, new riders, new technical director last year, it was the start of a new year in your opinion, and how was it?
We changed a lot, we said, but with the riders we were quite safe. In a way, it could be more a challenge changing the technical director, but I knew Fabiano since a while. I was pushing him to come to Aprilia Racing since a while. I know his character, and what surprised me the most is not the technical way that I was expecting, but also the human side, and the fact that he bonded into the team very, very quickly. So everything looks since the beginning very natural, and I think the human side of this company is something that will make the difference even more in the future.
I think that you should be happy, but I'm asking you about the relationship with the Trackhouse MotoGP team, especially what they have done last year.
Yeah, super happy about the relationship. As Paolo said, is not just a satellite team; it's a proper partner. We have Justin, that is a super smart, passionate guy. We have Davide. They have Davide actually to run the team with his experience. So, and then we have the riders, because I think finally Raul showed his talent. I expect a lot from him next year, and I'm super confident about Hayogura, because we saw some really spot of great talent and speed. So I think we were going to have for very competitive bikes.
Now talking about our riders, Jorge and Marco, I'm asking you what are your expectations and what you think should be the start of the season and this 2026 for Bezzecchi and for Jorge, for Martin.
Clearly, they come from, as I said, a different year, different experience. I start from Jorge. We need to be patient with him. He needs to be patient with himself. We know his character, we know his talent, we know his speed. He just needs to be 100% physically fine, and then he will come for sure. And with Marco, it looks like he's in the team since 10 years, not just one. He showed the speed. We expect him to start the season where he finished the season, so fighting for podiums.
We were talking about the 2027 project on a Aprilia Racing CEO point of view. What do you think about it? Sustaining two projects running in the same moment.
It is a commitment and it is an hard work, as Fabiano said, but year after year, this company has become faster and faster and more efficient. And I'm looking forward. I think that we have a great season, but also a great 2027.
Massimo, wait, stay with me. Because I hear some helicopter. Where are we going? Because I think we are flying away, far away. I don't know actually where. Maybe in the desert. Maybe there is Jacopo Cerruti.
Hot condition, maybe?
Yes, on a Tuareg rally. Let's see. Here it is, Jacopo Cerruti, just waiting for us. Jacopo!
Ciao a tutti. Hello.
We wanted to introduce to you like this because you are with the Tuareg Rally, the Queen of Africa, but you are the one that made history with our brand and with this competition. I'm just asking you, how was your winter? Are you preparing yourself for the new season, which is starting in a little while?
Yeah, winter was good. I had a problem, a small injury in October, but then I could train very well in the last months. So yeah, I'm prepared. I'm ready to go. This is my bike. We are ready to leave next week. So yeah, looking forward to the race.
The bike is so cool.
The bike is amazing. You look wonderful with this gear. I'm asking you also how important has been the team, the bike, the Tuareg Rally, because in the last 2 years you basically won all the competition you raced in Africa with the 2 Africa Eco Race wins and in Europe and in Motorelli Italian Championship.
Yeah, the last 2 years were amazing. We won. The most important for sure was Africa Eco Race. We won 2 years in a row, but then we won also 3 times the Italian Championship. We won 2 stages of the European Championship in Romania and Hellas in Greece. So yeah, we are ready. The journey has been amazing so far. So we are looking forward to race in Africa and try to get the top spot again.
See, we are actually looking at your last win. So you won the 2 Africa Eco Race in a row. You are the one that everybody is looking up because you've been the most competitive. I'm asking you, are you prepared for this Africa Eco Race? Are you and the team and everybody?
Yeah, of course we prepared 100%, but you are never prepared for Africa. So we try to do our best. The team worked amazing. The bike is so reliable, so good. I had such a good feeling with the bike in these years, and we didn't break anything in this past edition. So it's just an amazing bike, the Tuareg Rally. So yeah, we are ready to go, and we cross our fingers.
And I want to mention especially your team, the Guareschi brother, with the GC Corse, the team, and also with your teammate, with the Francesco Montanari, with the Marco Menichini. How important have your teammates and the Guareschi brothers been important for this journey?
Yeah, I have to thank for sure Vittoriano and Gianfranco, because they are 2 amazing team managers. We have such a good feeling together. We won so much together, and also with my teammates, because more than teammates, they are good friends. So I can't wait to go in Africa and share 2 weeks with them. It's gonna be tough, but we will enjoy.
Okay, thank you, Jacopo. Come si dice, like we say in Italian, in bocca al lupo. Thank you, Massimo. Massimo Riva, Aprilia Racing. CEO. And now we have ready for us Lorenzo Savadori, Aprilia Racing test rider. Lorenzo.
Ciao boss.
So, ciao.
Hello
Ciao,
to everyone.
You look amazing. This is the new outfit, so the people can have a look. Are you ready? Because you're going to be the one doing the shakedown with the bikes in a few days in Malaysia.
Yeah, really can't wait to try the new beast, the RS26 bike. In a few days, we will depart for Malaysia for the first shakedown test, and really can't wait to try the new bike.
What is your expectation of the bike? What do you think can be done for this season?
Yeah, I think the goal for us is to start the season where we finished last year. So the bike, boss, in MotoGP is never enough. So every time we need to do more and more, and growing and improve every time. So really, we have two fantastic and fast rider, Marco and Beth, and really can't wait. Orga and Beth, sorry, and really can't wait to see them on the bike.
Okay, very quickly we close with one question. Actually, one thing I want to say about Sava is an amazing team player. You've done a great job last year because he was testing, he was racing at the same time. So thank you for what you have done. You're going to be busy this year as well.
Yeah, of course. Last year was a great year for Aprilia. Was not simple to develop the bike during the race weekend, but was I think the key to improve every time and growing the level of the performance of the bike. So it was a really good year for us and for Aprilia.
Thank you, Lorenzo.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for everything you have done. And now the time has come to introduce number 72 rider Marco Bezzecchi and number 89 rider Jorge Almoguera Martin.
Ciao boss.
Ciao.
Ciao a tutti.
Come state?
Ciao.
I want to start with you. How was your winter break, Marco?
Was good.
You had fun, you train, you rest?
Yeah, I relax a bit, of course, spend a bit of time with my family and friends, but never completely stop training. And now fully back because we will start soon, so we have to be ready.
Jorge, I think that the winter break is always a moment where you can start thinking about the new season. I think you had a lot in mind, and you are preparing yourself for that.
Yeah, for sure. After last season was really important, this winter break, to get ready for what's coming in 26. So I'm really excited to start this adventure because I really need to come back.
Yesterday you were in Oale because you had to do some duties, video and photo and everything. We have some footage of you doing a tour with amazing bikes. The question I want to ask you, Jorge, is how close you felt the team all throughout the year, and especially like now that we are preparing the season?
Yeah, for sure. I think I learned a lot from last season. I think also the team, my team are really close to me because we learned that we need to be together to fight against everything that's going on. And yesterday was really special to be there with all the historical bikes, to see the most successful brand in history and to be part of it. It's amazing. So I'm really looking forward to start together and to be really close to fight for everything.
Marco, we mentioned some numbers, the 3 wins in the sprint races, the 3 wins in the long races. You've been already the most victorious Aprilia Racing rider. Isn't that impressive? Are you impressed?
Yeah, well, I'm first of all, I'm happy. I feel satisfied, of course, but it's never enough. So yeah, very happy, very proud to achieve this kind of results in my first year with the team. But we aim to reach something more. So we will try our best always to give everything on track and out of the track to be always there fighting.
Okay, now the time has come to unveil the bikes. So I'm asking you to be close to the bikes, and let's wait that I will give you the go.
Okay.
Because before the unveiling, we want to show you just a clip, just to show you some nice novelty that we have on the bike this year, and then I will give you the go for the unveiling. Go!
Let's go.
Oh.
I'm excited to see the bikes here on the stage. Marco, I'll start with you. It's not just because you have the air of a lion, but also because you have that kind of characteristic, the determination. So, the lion is linked to the history of Aprilia Racing and to the fact that it's also from Venice, which is very close to Noale. But what's your thought about it?
Yeah, it's super nice to have the lion back. It's an historical design and it's super nice. Of course, the bike looks very aggressive and is the character overall of the whole team, the whole factory, because all the people that are working with us are super strong and always super motivated. So very, very beautiful. Hopefully, we can bring this to the right place.
To the top level. Jorge, you already have been the king of the jungle in 2024, and we hope to see you up there. But it's not just that. Lions are the animals that always rise and shine back again. So that's what we hope for you.
Yeah, I love the new bike. I think the lion is the most representative animal for us at the moment. I think, I cannot see a better moment to shine again now with this lion, with this Aprilia. I think we are a great team, and I was contracted to try to win. So that's why what I will try to do, to fight till the end, to try to win this championship, either me or Marco. But I think we can do it. So I will fight till the end.
The bike. What can you tell me about it? You saw it yesterday. What's the look? It looks like very aggressively changed in the fairing in the front. Overall, what do you see?
Yeah, the bike is quite different from last year. We can see it quite clearly. It was super nice to see her yesterday for the first time. And yeah, looks super aggressive. The black bike is always very nice. So I'm very, very proud to be an Aprilia rider.
Thank you. Marco, what about you, Jorge? What do you think about the bike?
The bike is really nice. I think for sure we need more time with it, because I know that Fabiano is doing an amazing job with the factory. We could see also in Valencia already the bike was working really good, but now it's really important to confirm that in Malaysia, in Thailand. So yeah, we will see. For sure the bike is impressive, full black, and with the lion much better.
Thank you, guys. And now it's a moment important for me, because I want to, have here on stage the voice of the MotoGP in Italy, Guido Meda from Sky Sport MotoGP. We are hosted by Sky and the production of Sky Sport and Sky Content Factory.
Buon anno.
Ciao Guido, come stai?
Ciao. Com'è?
Bene, very good.
Okay, the first thing I want to ask you is...
I'm not so important to be here today.
No, for me, you are important and you need to be here. Also because you're going to be the voice of the MotoGP for other 2 years, and we are very happy about this. But the one thing I want to ask you is, what about the bikes? What do you think about the bikes?
So the bike, I was trying to look it from down there, and it seems that what we saw in Valencia with the camouflage, now it's become real. So, we can see it better. I love that lion. I love that. How do you call it, aggressivity of the bike that is perfectly in line with the character of your riders. Of course, Aprilia for us is an asset for our storytelling as an Italian brand, and also because last year, of course, mostly with Marco Bezzecchi, then with Jorge trying to recover, we had beautiful races because of you. And it's a kind of an attitude that you have that is special, and I think it belongs to both of you riders. Riders that go on the starting grid feeling that they can win always. They don't start feeling beaten maybe by Marc Marquez. No, that's not their job. And this is the kind of an attitude that last year I called bezzecchitude.
Exactly.
Bezzecchitudine.
Yeah, perfect translation.
Yes, and I hope it will be also a Martinitudine. And so we're looking forward for starting the season and seeing you again so competitive as you all did last year, and for having a great show during all the season, also with other, of course, manufacturers and riders.
I'm asking you if you have just one question for each one of the riders, if you have a curiosity, if you have,
Yes.
about the season and,
Yes.
Yes, go ahead.
Yes, I start with Marco. I was thinking about your way of finishing last year, a great one. When you change something on the bike and the new season is coming, how do you feel? I mean, are you afraid that maybe something has changed, or you are always sure that the package has improved and you start exactly from where you left last year?
Well, first of all, I hope, of course, to start where I finished last year. I have to say that when you build a base, it's difficult to lose completely everything. So we have to stay calm and to stay concentrated. We did a very good job last year, so we know that we are capable to do it, and we just have to start right now, try to be calm on the bike and try to understand everything, working with the engineers, with Fabiano, with all the team. But for sure, we can try to improve even more. And also me as a rider, I always have to improve in my riding skills, in my way to approach the races. So, of course, the target is try to start in the best way possible. But I'm sure that the work from the guys will pay off.
Thank you. Thank you. And to Jorge, I wanted to, of course, you needed kilometers to do. I want to know, how do you approach this season? If you needed to start with a hurry, to be try to win from the beginning, or if you are very calm and you still say, I need to know better the bike and myself, my physical condition, the approach of the beginning of the season.
Yeah, for sure. It's something I learned last season, is that you don't have to do more than what you can, no? So I don't want to be in a hurry because it's not necessary. Then something bad can happen again, so this is not what we want. I for sure missed a lot of races last season. I need to get the confidence back. But I am sure that when I am 100% together with the bike and we are together, we will be ready to win again. So I just need a bit of time just to do it. So I will try to go from less to more during the season to try to do what we are ready for.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Guido.
Grazie.
Thank
You're
you,
all
Jorge.
very welcome in Sky. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Marco. Thank you, everybody. Just you stay with me. We just need to say goodbye to everybody. Thank you for everybody who was and watched this presentation, and we leave you with some nice footage of this beautiful bike. Ciao.
Ciao, ciao.
Wow, what a livery. I've got to say, Aprilia always pull out all of the stops, don't they? Last year's was absolutely amazing. This year's is yet again a work of art, and it the subtle purple on the sides. The bike itself looks like it's got more attitude. The livery with that line, amazing. The purple and black attack is back. Thank you for that, Bourbon Jack GC. We love the human side Aprilia has. Thank you for that, Dan Daney. Yes, I think that is quite a good way to put it, because Aprilia is a family. It is a small part of the Piaggio group, who are quite big, but Aprilia has that family feel. Forza Scuderia Aprilia, the best looking bike on the grid. Well, I don't know about that. I wouldn't say it's absolutely the best nor the worst. That's not my job to hand out votes, but oh, it is lovely. Those subtle purple strikes with the dots, very, very nice indeed. And I can see why Marco Bezzecchi is smiling. Interesting what Jorge Martin said there. He needs to have a more controlled 2026. You don't want to be overstretching and trying to do things that you just can't. Kilometres, time on the bike, far more important. But yes, I've got to say that is a rather, rather nice livery. This livery, very beautiful indeed it is. Love this delivery. I presume that means livery, but we'll let you off with that. Do keep your comments coming in wherever you are enjoying this from. We will be hearing from the riders very, very soon indeed. Marco Bezzecchi and, of course, Jorge Martin. Unleash the Lion, Bez. Well, he's got the hair of a lion, hasn't he, with that rather interesting mullet going on. Now he has it on the side of his bike. Great to see there's still a bit of Stella Garda sponsorship. I love that. I loved that last year, and I love it again this year. Do keep your comments coming in. We are going to be opening a new poll right now, and that is, who do you think will perform better this year? Jorge Martin or Marco Bezzecchi? I think this could be quite close. Let's see how it ends up. If I was to vote, I'd go Marco Bezzecchi purely because of his understanding, his time at Aprilia, his success at Aprilia. That is not to say that Jorge Martin can't reach the same level, but I think it's going to take a little bit of time coming in to 2026. But that's what we're asking. Which rider do you think will perform better in 2026 in Aprilia? Jorge Martin or Marco Bezzecchi? I remind you, Marco Bezzecchi was last year's world number 3. They do not give that away. He was the first non-Ducati rider in the championship standings and finished, of course, as we said earlier, with that back-to-back winning in Portugal and in Valencia. Do keep voting. 88% of you so far already saying that Jorge Martin will perform better in 2026. Only 12% of you saying Marco Bezzecchi. Keep the votes coming in, and when the poll does close, we'll be able to bring you the final results, of course. Don't forget, when you are at trackside or at home on the sofa, you can enjoy everything through the MotoGP app. It is your absolute right-hand guide to a weekend of the most exciting sport on earth. Whether you're at the track, you can enjoy circuit mode, which helps you navigate and enhance your experience with various stores, various games, various things to do at the track. At home, it is your companion. Now it's changing. The majority of you thinking that Marco Bezzecchi is going to outperform Jorge Martin. Now, I've got to say that was what I expected. I'm surprised it's over 60%, though. I think that's going to get a bit closer as this poll goes on, purely because Jorge Martin, you can't really judge his 2025 as an indicator of his actual performance levels at Aprilia. He was injured for so much of it. He had so little time on the bike coming into the season. He had so little time on the bike during the season. Of course, he was injured in Qatar. He then got injured again in Japan. He missed so many GPs. It's hard to say where Jorge Martin is going to stack up. That's why we need to get testing. That's why we need to see bikes back out on track. This was over at the Valencia test just after round 22 last year down there at the Ricardo Tormo circuit. Jorge Martin spinning a few laps along with Marco Bezzecchi and the rest of the Aprilia riders. Interesting stuff with Aprilia is that, of course, it wasn't just Marco Bezzecchi that made it work. Of course, it was indeed Raul Fernandez in Australia. He was right there as well in podium contention right through the second half of the year, and it was in win contention against Bez in the final Grand Prix of the year. There was also Ayogura, who had a splattering of top tens, let's say, and an emphatic debut in Thailand. So keep an eye on Ayogura, particularly now he gets to spin laps on a MotoGP machine for a second time at some circuits, of course. Last year, very much a learning year for the 2024 Moto2 World Champion in terms of getting his head around a MotoGP bike at tracks that he does know. But the Aprilia project's really, really coming on strong. And as I say, Marco Bezzecchi finishing last year so strongly. It took a little bit of time to come, but really from Assen onwards last year, that last weekend of June, Bez was right there. Bez had an unbelievable kind of, from that point on, all the way to the end. There were some dips. Malaysia, as I said, was one of them. And, of course, Japan, when he got taken out by Jorge Martin. That was another. But generally speaking, Bez had serious pace. And that's what we're looking forward to seeing more of in 2026. Needs a clear testing run, you feel. And let's see exactly what Aprilia are going to bring to the table tech-wise or in terms of resources to this season, because of course 2026 is the last of this era. 2027 is when all the tech regs change again. This was Bez testing back in Valencia at the end of last year. We've already seen Jorge Martin, but this is Bez. We're going to have another look at a poll now, and yeah, it's getting closer. 60% of you now say, well, that's more what I was expecting to see. 45% of you saying Jorge Martin, and the rest of you saying Bez. But that is live and changing, so do keep voting and do keep your comments coming in, your messages of support, and who you're rooting for this year. Of course, we haven't got long to wait for Trackhouse. So we've got the 21st of January marked in for Trackhouse Aprilia's livery. Hopefully something special going to happen there, because they had a lovely couple of special liveries last year. We'll have to see what they come up with this year. We're just having another look really at this video Aprilia put together before we will cross back live to hopefully hear from Marco Bezzecchi and Jorge Martin. Great to see Max Biaggi on stage. I absolutely love that. Big welcome for him and Paolo Bonora at the start of the Aprilia presentation. Always good that Aprilia honour Max Biaggi, a 6-time world champion, with them. Right, let's get to the business end of the presentation. It's now time to cross over live to Milan with Connor Doherty, who's ready and waiting with Marco Bezzecchi. Connor, over to you.
Yeah, absolutely right, Kiko. Marco, Massimo said that you were a natural fit for the Aprilia project. You were really strong, obviously, last year, and you've been leading on the track. Does that additional responsibility and pressure affect you going into 2026?
Well, no. At the end, is an honor to be in this kind of position. Of course, as you know, in our sport, everything can change super quickly. So at the end, I have a very good feeling with my team, with the bike, and with the whole factory Noale, with the whole group of engineers. They are super nice and fantastic with me. So the maximum that I can do is try to give my best, and every time I jump on the bike, try to give the best feedback and to be more precise that I can. And hopefully we can start the season in a good way. But at the end, I'm happy to feel this kind of pressure, let's say.
You've kind of answered every single question I could put to you. I would like to ask, though, what do you need to maintain the form that you finished last season on, especially on a new bike, with any changes to the package that you might have?
Well, first of all, I have to try to arrive on top physically. I'm already in a good shape, but as you know, the time is not enough, or anyways is not so much, so we need to really work hard before the beginning of the season to try to reach the perfect shape on our body. And then, of course, try to start in the best way possible, as I said before, try to understand what is good and what is to improve more on the bike. But this we will understand it only in a few days in Sepang, so really can't wait to go there to ride a bit.
And during the presentation, we heard a lot of fighting words, a lot of optimism. You obviously finished third last year, behind Mark, but ahead of Pecco, for example. Who do you think are your biggest challenges for the coming season?
Well, for sure, Mark is been the fastest rider. He won the championship super early, won many races, but at the end, every rider in MotoGP is super strong. So my target is just try to focus on myself and try to start in the best way possible. Then from there, we can set a more clear target.
There you have it then, the words of Marco Bezzecchi, calm and collected and looking forward to 2026, Kiko.
Yeah, absolutely can't wait. Cheers, Bez. Cheers, Connor. Very measured response from Marco Bezzecchi, I've got to say. Of course, he was P3 overall last year, but we're going to take a look at some of the highlights now. I'll let you digest them. But I'm surprised there wasn't more attack from Bez. But then again, he was right there. He did his talking on track last year. So fantastic stuff. Of course, that fantastic win at the Misano Sprint. He fought for victory in Hungary. He fought for victory in Austria. He definitely didn't fight for victory on Sunday in Mandalika. And what you're seeing there is the end of Marc Marquez's season as well. This is obviously Saturday for Bez when he took the victory in Mandalika, just in case you're a bit confused why you saw him going through the gravel trap and then crossing the line, accelerating at P1. He was flawless on Saturday in Australia as well, and really just one of the riders to beat last year at the end of the season. And that's kudos not just to Bez but also to Aprilia. Of course, Fabiano Sterlachini doing a great job behind the scenes in bringing the latest stuff, the latest material to Aprilia, and it's all working for them. Live poll continues, and I can tell you 39% now if you think Jorge Martin will come out fighting. 61% if you think Marco Bezzecchi is still going to get it over the line. I can tell you there's a plenty of debate happening about it here too. I've got to say I think they're going to be very equal from the middle of the season onwards. I just think Bez is just going to have that edge right at the start over Martin. Of course, we are waiting to hear from Jorge Martin once again, and in case you are wanting to catch up on the 2024 World Champions season in 2025, you are able to watch from heaven to hell. It's out there on MotoGP.com, and you can see all the trials and tribulations of Jorge Martin's roller coaster 2025 season. I give it to Jorge Martin. Love to see him battle Marc. I think that's the battle we all wanted to see at some point last year. Let's hope that it is indeed Jorge Martin redemption in 2026. MotoGP is stronger when you have Jorge Martin at the front of it. One thing that he is tenacious and determined. He never gives up, does he? Good morning from Rhode Island. Hello again to you, Stumpy421. Can't wait to see what a fully fit Martin can do on that Aprilia, and that sentiment is shared right across the paddock, I believe, because Jorge Martin, we never saw him at full fitness. When he came back in Brno, he wasn't at full fitness. He was still getting used to being bike fit again. He was still trying to get kilometres on the bike. When Jorge Martin is in his peak performance and that Aprilia is working for him, you've got to say it is going to be a frighteningly fast combination. Let's just have another look at that wonderful livery again. Some subtle changes in comparison to last year, but interesting. We had the VR46 livery yesterday, and they've adopted black and light, as they branded it, but black for aggressiveness. Nice to see Aprilia doing the same, and black definitely more stealth-like, isn't it? It's definitely got a bit more of a racing feel to it. Let's hope it goes quick as well as looks good. So, yeah, Aprilia pulling out all the stops as usual, as they so often do. Amazing bike. Love from India. Thank you very much for that one. I can see you're a Marc Marquez fan. No Marc Marquez at Aprilia, though. The next time out, though, we will see Marc, because it is Ducati's turn next week from Madonna di Campido on the 19th of January. You'll be able to join the team, bringing you all of that one. As we continue to look at the slightly revised, not reinventing the livery, but a slightly revised Aprilia. Most beautiful bike on the grid. Thank you for that, Grace Morris. Quite a good little profile picture there. Don't know what the relation is there, but funny nonetheless. Aprilia will become the lion of the circuit. Well, I think they already were at times last year, particularly Bez towards the end of that season, that 2025 campaign. The bike looks amazing. Yeah, it's a sentiment that is very much shared, I think, right across all you guys at home, the fans, all of us here. The paddock will, I'm sure, rather like it. Let's just hope it gives Ducati a run for its money in 2026. I can tell you we are still waiting for Jorge Martin and probably a couple of the bosses as well, Massimo Rivola and Paolo Bonora. So just stay with us a moment. This is your live poll. It is the closest poll I think we've had since we've started these team presentations. Which rider do you think will perform better in 2026? Jorge Martin, 42% now. Marco Bezzecchi, still 58%, still a majority. Let us know your reasons why. Get in touch with us. The conversation does not stop here. Have your say right across X, right across Facebook, YouTube, or Instagram. However you're enjoying these team presentations, do let us know why you are voting the way you are. Of course, there'll be plenty more polls. And beyond the polls anyway, let us know your opinions. Let us know your thoughts. Let us know what you think of these liveries, of the shows, of the riders, everything. We're just taking another look back through Jorge Martin's testing shots from the test back in Valencia in the 3rd week of November. And of course, as we said earlier, Jorge Martin had to pull in on Sunday just to preserve his body a little bit, let it rest up, let it heal up, and then go again a couple of days later to get on with testing. Tuesday post Valencia, very much the first day of 2026, and it starts there. We may go off for December, we may be away for January, but really the first day of the 2026 season, day 0, it does start 2 days after the final checkered flag of the 2025 season. We'll be able to take a look at the calendar in not too long as well, I'm sure, just to refresh your memory of our destinations that we go to in 2026. Of course, no Argentina this year, but we do have Brazil coming on as well. We've got Jorge Martin, I can tell you, live and ready and waiting in Milan. Connor, over to you.
We do have Jorge Martin, Geeko, and I'm thrilled to be with him, and it's so good to see you smiling as well as we go into a new season. Over the course of the winter break, I've seen a lot of stuff online about patience. We need to be patient. But you as a rider, surely you feel, I don't want to be patient, I just want to throw myself in there.
Yeah, well, for sure, after last season, I had a lot of lessons that I took from it. Now I'm really excited to start this new season with a big opportunity to shine again, no? Because last season was really dark. So I'm really optimistic. I think the bike is improving a lot, and we could see last season with Marco and another Aprilia riders that was really strong. So really looking forward to start. For sure, I need my time. I need to go from less to more. I don't want to go and crash again, so I need my time to adapt. And as soon as I'm, together with the bike and yeah, fully fit, I think we're ready for everything.
You've touched on it a bit there, but obviously seeing how successful Marco was, seeing Raul Fernandez as well, you watching on obviously a bit further back, did that give you a lot of belief in Aprilia as a winning project?
Yeah, I was watching at more than on the back. I was watching more from home. So I was really low, of my potential, I think. But now it's time to find this fully fit, to be ready to give my 100%. And I'm sure that if Marco was able to do it, Raul was able to do it, I will be able to do it.
Absolutely. I mean, you're the world champion in the team. So in 2027, we have new regulations, a new era, new contracts to be signed. How much are you motivated to be part of the Aprilia project going into that new era?
Yeah, for sure. I think Aprilia, as always, will do an amazing job now and in the future. But what I can say is that today is the team presentation, so I think it's important to be really excited for this year, for the present, and there will be a lot of time to speak about the future.
A lot of time to speak about the future there from Jorge Martin, Kiko.
Thank you very much, Connor. Thank you very much, Jorge Martin. Lots of time to speak about the future. Of course, everyone's contracts, with the exception of Johann Zarco, up at the end of 2026 as all the technical regulations reset for 2027. Now, earlier on, we asked about a poll. Will Jorge Martin return to winning ways? Look how close that is. Yes, 48%. No, 52%. No, still a majority, but very, very balanced indeed. So let's be... That's interesting, and I'm sure that poll's now closed. We're going to bring you the next poll very soon about whether or not Jorge Martin will beat Marco Bezzecchi. Now, whilst Marco Bezzecchi had a phenomenal 2025 season, as we've touched on so many times, Jorge Martin's was very different. We showed you this video a little bit earlier on, but this is the trailer of how Jorge Martin's fall from grace occurred throughout the 2025 season. Take a look at this.
Están grabando. Sales a full.
Going from the best or the happiest moment of my life, and then starting this nightmare.
Don't tell me you crashed.
Oh, this is not a sight we wanted to see at all. At all. At all.
I don't know what's gonna happen, but I love you, I love you, I love you.
You are never prepared to being close to die. I start to have a lot of doubts. I had to make a decision on my future.
You joking?
Tú con tu situación en el hospital, tus dudas.
I'm not gonna let you go.
On the inside goes Martin, that's lovely.
He is a fighter.
Oh, the two Aprilias down.
I will be here as long as my body let me.
He has bounced back before in his career. Can he do it again?
From heaven to hell, Jorge Martin, and I'm sure if he does return to heaven in 2026, then we will be following that one up for sure. Just a little touch on that as well. MotoGP coming out with plenty of great video content. This is a live poll. Who's going to outperform who in 2026? 47% of you now saying Jorge Martin. Marco Bezzecchi, 53%. So still just a little bit more in favour of Marco Bezzecchi. But I've got to say, it is close, and that is exactly how I thought that one would go. Just back to something I was mentioning a moment ago, of course, we've got Marc Marquez's documentary out there. It is absolutely fantastic. There is, of course, the follow-up to all of our documentaries in the past 3 or 4 seasons. You'll be able to check all of them out, and, you know, in these weekends without MotoGP, definitely give them a binge watch. Along with all of that, there's plenty of content across the MotoGP YouTube channel, which you can enjoy. And you can also watch all of these back. So if you have missed Pramac or VR46, for example, in the last couple of days, well, they are all out there. So make sure you do watch them back, particularly Pramac, because it's the first time we hear from Toprak Vazgatlioglu as a MotoGP rider. Go and check out what he had to say. Of course, across the website as well, MotoGP.com. Everything is in one easy place for you to find, from all of our official communications to web articles, videos, results that date back through the years, and of course you can watch the MotoGP 2025 season on demand if you have subscribed to the MotoGP Video Pass. You'll be wanting to get all of that anyway for 2026 because it's going to be unmissable at every Apex. We are just looking now at some more shots of the Aprilia livery this year. Jorge is the best. Well, he was in 2024. 2025 certainly far from ideal. Let's see if the Martinator will be able to bounce back and be in contention from lights out in Buriram across the 27th of February to the 1st of March. Now we are just waiting to see who else we can get on the ground down there in Milan. Conor Doherty, busy as ever. As we said, he came from the launch yesterday of the VR46 camp. They were down in Rome, so Conor doing a little bit of a tour of Italy. Not bad, I suppose. He's in the fashion capital. No surprise why I'm not. This is Marco Bezzecchi. This is back from Valencia. Of course, lots of anticipation going into 2026. Also going into last year, in effect, because no one anticipated that Marco Bezzecchi was going to be the one leading the Aprilia project, because Jorge Martin was obviously signed as a reigning world champion to lead the force, to lead the charge for the Noale factory. But due to his injuries sustained in the pre-season, which we saw in the small trailer that we just caught, due to the injury sustained in that crash in Qatar, due to the injury sustained in his crash in Japan, Jorge Martin just got pummeled, really, in terms of injuries. And that just left that Marco Bezzecchi had to lead the development. He was the factory rider who was leading that development on the track weekend to weekend. The poll is still open. Which rider do you think will perform better in 2026? 47% of you still saying Jorge Martin, the other 53% saying Marco Bezzecchi. I've got to say that's exactly where I thought it would go. It would be close and marginal, but it is still a majority vote for Marco Bezzecchi. I'm only leaning towards Bez because he has that form, he has that momentum, he has that understanding of the bike where Jorge Martin is still finding things out. And he also has a base at every one of the tracks that we go to. Forza Marco, thank you for that one. Let's go, Marco. And I knew you'd be world champion on this year, for this year, from Malaysia. Thank you very much for that one. Bez set the bar pretty high. Can't wait for March the 27th to the 29th. Of course, that is when we are over in America, just a week after we go green for the first time in 22 years in Brazil. Send love to Bez from South Korea. Bez, I'm sending you love from South Korea. But that is a message. I'm not in South Korea. I'm in Barcelona, where MotoGP's HQ is. That comment, very simple. I like Bez. Yes, I mean, you can feel free to elaborate a little bit further and give us a bone here to kind of chew on. But more on that later. Let's get talking all things serious. Back over to Milan and Conor Doherty, who's with Aprilia Racing CEO Massimo Rivola.
That's absolutely right, Kiko. I am with Massimo Rivola. Massimo, first of all, a massive congratulations on the team launch for 2026. Now, if you can just take us back to the end of 2025, it was a phenomenal finish. Does that change the way you approach this season?
Well, when you finish like that, for sure you get expectation. We don't have to forget that number 93 was not there when we finished, so that's make the difference. For sure, we need to stay very humble and work as we always did. Obviously, the expectation on Marco is there. The expectation on the bike is there. And with Jorge, we need to start. Sooner or later, we need to start with him because at the end, we didn't so far. I think you need to stay calm. You need a bit of time, especially at the beginning, to recover fully recover physically, and then to start getting the confidence. But quite excited, honestly. But every year we are more or less always in the same position. You want to start and see where you are, really.
I didn't want to bring up the number 93. Obviously, you at Aprilia have one eye on Ducati. You could be the real challengers, but you've got to be looking back as well, because Honda and Yamaha, they've invested a lot, and we saw their results improve a lot.
Yeah, I think they are coming. We don't have to forget KTM. I think, okay, we saw Pedro. I think Maverick also will be very fast. Yamaha showed that they did a good job, pole position already last year, and with the new engine AB4, maybe they will be competitive with, in particular with Fabian. And we are all curious to see Toprak also. I have to say also that Honda, they lost the concession because of the performance, so for sure they will be part of the game. Honestly, I think it will be quite a nice challenge and races in 26.
So 2026, a challenging year, but it's also a transitional year. We're going to be switching the regulations for 2027. How is the planning for that going as well? And just frankly, do you expect to have the same rider lineup?
I don't know. I don't know. Priority is to have a fast bike, and considering the company we built so far, I think we are quite an efficient company. So we are quite fast in delivering performance. So I think in 27 our bike will be very competitive. At least looking at about the numbers that we saw already at the test bench with the engine, for example. But regarding the riders, obviously it would be nice to continue with them. But at the moment, priority for sure is the bike. Obviously, with Marco, it looks like we start building something special as a sort of Italian storytelling. Let's see who will be the real lion on track.
Thank you so much, Massimo, and best of luck for 2026. There you have it then, Kiko. There was Massimo Rivola. Very much fighting talk.
Very much fighting talk. Thank you, Connor. We'll cross back live to you in a short while because we are now towards the end of the presentation. Interesting that Massimo Rivola just saying they're starting to build something special with Marco Bezzecchi. That was evident at the end of 2025, but moving forward into 2026, how can you not have Marco Bezzecchi as one of the favourites moving into the new season? These are the final results of which rider do you think will perform better in 2026. It is 47% for Jorge Martin, 53% for Marco Bezzecchi. Close, but it is a overall result for Marco Bezzecchi, at least in the opinion of the fans. Connor, some closing thoughts from your Italian tour. Yesterday you were in Rome, today up in Milan. How was the atmosphere up there for the Aprilia launch?
The atmosphere was absolutely electric. The presentation, I think, was absolutely phenomenal as well. Aprilia ticked all the boxes that we needed. To see from them, they expressed their real desire to fight in 2026. Both Marco Bezzecchi, who, as you mentioned there, has been absolutely sensational so far at Aprilia and looks to be really, I dare to say, the lead rider, but also from Jorge Martin, who expressed a real desire to get into that battle, and that he said that he could do everything that Marco is capable of doing. So we'll have to wait and see what happens on track and wish them all the best, especially for Jorge to get a better start to the season than last year, Kiko.
And finally, Connor, just before we do say goodbye, we put a question to the people. Will Jorge Martin outperform Marco Bezzecchi? Will Marco Bezzecchi outperform Jorge Martin? That has now changed to 48% Jorge Martin, 52% Marco Bezzecchi. Close, but do you agree? Do you think Bez has got the edge over Jorge Martin for 2026?
I think Bezzecchi has shown that he's adapted to the bike incredibly well, and I think we can take from what Jorge Martin has previously said over the course of the end of last year that he has some issues with the Aprilia that Marco's capable of dealing with better, for example, with braking, and Jorge needs to learn from Bezzecchi rather than the other way around. So for me, Bezzecchi's going to be the lead rider going into 2026, Kiko, but who knows? MotoGP, anything can happen.
It's unpredictable. There's a reason why it is the greatest sport on earth. Connor, you're in this seat next week. Your Italian tour...
Most exciting.
You're in this seat next week. You're replacing me. Chris Jordan is up in Madonna di Campido. So, guys, you'll see Connor here where I am. Connor, thank you. Goodbye for now. See you very soon. And a safe return to MotoGP HQ.
Thanks, Nico. See you shortly.
My name's not shortly. Next, we're going to have a quick look towards the MotoGP 2026 calendar. You're really going to want to check this out. These are dates for your diary. Make sure you cancel all plans, and I mean weddings, engagements, meals with friends, babysitting. Not on any of these dates. These are the dates where you pull that fridge closer to the sofa and you're watching MotoGP. If you are not trackside, Thailand, Brazil, America and Qatar you're opening for. Then the European Tour begins with Jerez in Spain. We go to the iconic Le Mans in France, Barcelona, Mugello and Balaton Park in Hungary complete the opening 9. Then we are in Brno, and Assen marks a halfway point at the end of June. The second half kick starts in Germany. We all take a summer break, and then it's up to the United Kingdom for Silverstone. Aragon at the end of August before Misano and Austria are your final 2 European GPs before we go out east towards Japan for Motegi. Then it is Indonesia, Australia, Malaysia. The season all concluding in the Iberian Peninsula, Portugal at Portimao and Valencia in Spain. So can't wait to get on with it. We're just a few weeks away now from the first green light of 2026. The presentations do not stop here. We are 3 down, just 8 to go. The next one, as I just said, from Madonna di Campillo, you will be able to join Chris Jordan up in the Dolomites for that one. Connor Doherty will be over here in MotoGP HQ for the Ducati Lenovo team, and our first chance to clap eyes on world champion Marc Marquez in 2026. That's all for today, though, folks. Thank you very much for joining us from all of the team here in Barcelona. Myself, Kiko Giles, and Connor Doherty, of course, and Aprilia over in Milan. Goodbye for now. Have a great weekend. See you next week.
Passion. Speed.
Innovation.
Sacrifice, embracing the struggle. Commitment, never stop believing.
Vamos!
Face any challenge. Keep pushing.
This
is